Well, the movie flopped, and Star Wars SHILL media scrambles to find out who's to blame and why. Well, we're to blame, and I'll tell you why, because these movies suck. Welcome to the Phantom Menace. Homeboy be like, nah, I got him right where I want him. Now I'm gonna piss those white supremacists off for good. Alright everyone, hello, thank you very much, have a seat, welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. My name is Ethan Van Sciver. I am a comic book artist, I have been for 25 years. I have illustrated Jordan B. Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, maybe you read it, about 1 million people did, and I am also a great big Star Wars fan. Full disclosure, I'm a white male. I am. So I was born that way. That's what happens when you're born in Provo, Utah. You have very little choice. Listen, I don't mind. It's okay. It's never done me any harm. But I am a white male, so I might have a bias here. Scott Mendelsohn would detect a bias coming from me. This is brilliant. Scott, thank you so much. I sit around. You have to understand, if I don't get to make a video, if nobody does anything cringy and stupid about Star Wars, I have to draw. I'm working on Cyberfrog upstairs right now. Bing, 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 bing. 1 million alerts. Scott Mendelsohn just wrote a big stupid article. Yeah, you gotta cover it. And I look at it and I go, all right, let's do it, because it is a video, and I'm sure it will get many, many, many views. Let's discuss Scott Mendelsohn. Scott Mendelsohn, super troll, super troll. Scott, I salute you. I can see it in your eyes, by the way. I can see it in your smile. You're like Tico. You're all I ever want. Well, I wouldn't say that. You're not like Tico, not in that way. But I like that. Look at that. He's like, I've been a bad boy. Yes, you have, Scott. Prepare for your spanking. Let's go get daddy's belt. No, maybe not. All right, so as Solo, a Star Wars story flops. I'm glad you admit that, Scott. I'm glad you admit that it was a flopperoo. Scott, I'm glad that you, unlike your other weirdos in the Star Wars SHILL media, I'm glad that you, here's what I like about Scott. Scott writes these articles, and the first 2 paragraphs are very conciliatory and honest. And then paragraphs 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are a lot of lies. And that's one thing I've noticed. Scott is an interesting writer. He's an interesting SHILL media type, and he's basically a troll. I mean, I didn't know Forbes hired trolls of this caliber. Hi, I'm available. Yeah, he's basically a troll, so you got to just have fun with him here. As Solo, a Star Wars story flops, are movies about white men box office poison? They are. They're BOP, box office poison. I think that's a nuclear take. That's what we call a very hot take. It's a hot soy take, but it is a hot take. Let's see what you offer to us by way of explaining. And listen, I'm open to it. I don't really care. Solo, a Star Wars story, may struggle to pass the 248 million opening weekend of The Force Awakens. Yeah, it will. It's going to struggle to pass that $248 million opening weekend of The Force Awakens. It definitely will. And maybe if things go south, the 220 million debut frame of The Last Jedi, it's gone south. Scott, it's gone south. Now what? If it had cost less, parenthetically, I have no idea how much reshoots added to the budget. Nobody does. That is the question. How much did the budget land at with Ron Howard reshooting the whole movie? They're keeping that close to their chest. Rob Liefeld asked me that yesterday. Rob Liefeld said $100 million is a lot of money. I mean, they made a lot of money. Well, Rob, the initial budget was $250 million before Ron Howard came in for reshoots, and then that doesn't even take into consideration promotion. I mean, this movie probably is north of $600 million. Can you show me that on paper? Well, here it is right here. Okay, so here's $200 million plus Han Solo prequel. They didn't mean to do this. Okay, they didn't mean to spend this much money. $100 million doesn't cover that, Rob. It doesn't. It gets gobbled up. We're not in the black yet. Or perform better overseas. That's the real trouble spot. this would be a different conversation. Plenty of big movies earned under 200 million and went on to do 550 million or 800 million worldwide business, but Solo isn't Spectre, Pirates 5, or Fast and Furious 6. No, it isn't. It isn't. These all starred white males, didn't they? Wait a second. Spectre, James Bond, white male. Pirates, Johnny Depp, a white male. Fast and Furious, well, we've got, I don't know. I mean, there's a nice mixture of people there, but I'm pretty sure that the guy who crashed his Lamborghini and the star of the movie was a white male as well. Very white. About as white as me. About as white as me. And I'm white. It is ironic that the first failure of the new Star Wars era is the one with a white guy starring in the starring role. Moreover, Solo, a Star Wars story, tanked harder overseas than in North America. We are comedically past the point where anyone should still believe the conventional wisdom about minority-led movies or female-led movies struggling overseas. While I'm not going to argue that overseas audiences are drawn to big movies starring women and minorities more than the standard white guy, he's the special hero's journeys, they sure don't seem to find them repelling either. Tomb Raider made $215 million overseas versus $56 million domestic. Blah, blah, blah. All right, so the women. Christ almighty. Whoa, what the scroll right past that. Jesus, what was that? While we claim overseas resistance to big movies headlined by women and minorities, Dwayne Johnson has become a big-scale movie star. Dwayne Johnson has become a big-scale movie stars. Garbage here. And the Johnson-Kevin Hart Jumanji sequel topped 950 million worldwide. Rampage, starring Johnson and Naomi Harris, earned 413 million worldwide, while Michael Fassbender's Assassin's Creed earned 240 million. These are all a lot of money. It's a lot more than 100 million. 103 million. We pretended that China had issues with movies starring minorities or women. We all pretended that. Yet the last two Fast and Furious series topped 392 million a pop. Resident Evil, the final, blah, 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 blah. Here it is. Alden, who would have thought that the third Ehrenreich would be a problem? Who would have thought that the third Ehrenreich would have to face off against Scott Mendelsohn? Scott Mendelsohn, he's sick of it. He's sick of the white men. I never could have guessed. Can we just get past this, please, all the Pacific Rim? Meanwhile, Star Wars The Force Awakens earned $2 billion worldwide with Daisy Ridley and John Boyega in leading roles. Yeah, that is true. Everybody went to see Daisy Ridley and John Boyega. We saw, I'll go see anything with John Boyega in it. And Daisy Ridley Ray with her Oakley Dokley Doo, I'll go see anything with Daisy Ridley in it. She's just box office gold. And so is John Boyega. If I see John Boyega, he is our generation's, let's say, I would say Jimmy Stewart. He's very prolific. It's the mark of quality and humor. It's American values when you see John Boyega. These two people, put him in a movie, it's gonna sell. We're gonna sell a lot of popcorn. We're gonna sell a lot of popcorn with Daisy Ridley and John Boyega. While Rogue One with Felicity Jones leading a crew of Felicity Jones, another one, Multicultural Rebels, topped 1 billion. Yeah, I see these names. I'm like, I'm there. Tom Cruise, who? Questionable backlash notwithstanding. There's no question about this backlash. There's no question about it, Scott. I want you to retract that. Scott Mendelsohn, if you're watching this video, and I know you are, retract that word right there. It's unquestionable. Unquestionable backlash from the Phantom Menace, withstanding The Last Jedi, which starred Daisy Ridley, Oscar Isaac, Carrie Fisher, John Boyega, Kelly Marie Tran, and Laura Dern, among others. The white man, what's the white man we're forgetting there? Mark Hamill. Yeah, that was the big face on the poster, the big white male face on the poster, wasn't it? Just because you made him a eunuch in the movie doesn't mean that that's not why he sold the popcorn. I'm pretty sure that we all came to see Luke Skywalker. I think some people came to see Daisy Ridley. Some people came to see Daisy Ridley. Here's a test. Just make a movie with Daisy Ridley and nobody else. You know? The Daisy Ridley and John Boyega adventures. I think that would be a good way to tell. Because I like your theory. It was only the Alden Ehrenreich starring Hero's Journey origin story featuring Emilia Clarke as strong independent love interest, Woody Harrelson and the cynical mentor, and Dong Lover as the cooler than you black sidekick. Was Dong Lover a black side? Well, he was black. Was he a sidekick in this movie? Was he ever a sidekick? It felt more like Han Solo was the sidekick in this movie, to be frank, and you guys did nothing. You guys in the garbage tier, I'm not going to call you garbage tier right now because you're making some great points. You guys did nothing but tell us that Dong Lover was a superstar. He was going to carry this movie. People went to see Dong Lover pansexual. People went to see Dong Lovin'. They went to see pansexuality. We learned a lot. I forgot Alden Ehrenreich was even in the movie. He was overcast by everyone else. He was outshone. He was upstaged. He was upstaged by everyone else. It's true. Oh my God! When Emphas Ness took off her mask and she was revealed to be a speckled 16-year-old girl, I went, whoa! Like my hair was blown back in my seat. I was like, whoa! Like that. Fell backwards. I was in awe. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. Did Solo, a Star Wars story, disappoint because it had a white male lead? Yes. What did it work so simple? It is, and why couldn't it be? You know you want it to be that simple, Scott. Just let it be. You can throw a whole bunch of recent starring a male lead blockbuster releases at me without even dipping into comic book superheroes like The Revenant, Dunkirk, Kong, Ready Player One. I will then offer Pan, Terminator Genesis, and Exodus. Are you telling me, Scott, that some movies with white males as leads succeed and other ones don't? Peculiar. Walt Disney has the year's biggest domestic hit in Black Panther. That's true. No, well, also Avengers. The new Avengers movie did pretty well, starring how many white males? Thor, Loki, Bruce Banner, Captain America, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange. Was Ant-Man in it? I don't think he was in it. The guy from what's his name? The guy from Guardians of the Galaxy, that douchebag. There were a lot of white men. I would say the Thanos is a white man too, even though he's purple. He acts like a white man. He acts very privileged. Very privileged. It takes a white man's privilege to want to kill half of the world, and that's what he did. Spoiler alert. I think Thanos was white. That is my personal opinion. Oh, well, he was white. He was played by, what's-his-face? He was played by what's-his-face, who's white. So he was white. I'm right. I'm always right. The year's biggest flop, Wrinkle in Time. Both films were headed by black directors and featured majority-minority casts. This is very confusing. Let me just make sure there's a question mark at the end of this. Was there a question mark? Question mark. Okay, good. So you know that you're wrong. Oh my God, scroll past that real quick. Good Lord. Yeah, because I thought you were going to make a point here, and so far, the point is not so. The last three Star Wars movies were huge, partly because they were event movies for moviegoers, not used to seeing themselves in lead roles as Jedi Knights and Rebel leaders. What? Force Awakens post-debut legs, and it remains the second leggiest, 100 million, plus Friday opener ever behind Wonder Woman, were partially fueled by its surprise reveal of Rey as the Jedi hero. Yeah, we were all like, what? Which was hidden from the marketing and treated as a surprise. Force Awakens was an event movie, especially for those who yearn to see themselves as the main hero. That's just, this is silly SJW think right here. The idea that we go to the movies to see ourselves. We want to see ourselves as heroes. No, we just want to see beautiful people. We want to see beautiful people as heroes. So why do you keep giving us Rose Tico? No, Rose Tico is beautiful. Rose Tico is beautiful. I take that back. I enjoyed Ron Howard's Solo as an unassuming B-movie Western Indiana Jones riff. It was unassuming. It was a B-movie. But unlike the last three Star Wars movies, it wasn't an event for any demographics not already used to seeing themselves in the cockpit. Yeah, people really, they go, I don't understand. Why isn't his skin color like my skin color? Why? I think this guy has a good point here. I think they're going to have trouble next year with Star Wars Episode 9 when they try to promote Yoda. Who sees themselves as Yoda besides Ruth Bader Ginsburg? I mean, nobody looks at Yoda and goes, "That's me. That's me." It's good to see. It's good to see myself reflected on the screen up there. Yeah, very few people. Very few people do. And I don't know anybody that's green, honestly. Not really. Let me think about it a little bit. It looked on the outside, but stop talking about other movies. Tell me about white people in Star Wars. Here we go. Those allegedly boycotting Star Wars over The Last Jedi. It's not alleged. It's not alleged. It's for real. It's for real. We really are. I have proof. I have proof. It's my YouTube channel, Comic Artist Pro Secrets. We are the Phantom Menace. We are actually boycotting Star Wars over The Last Jedi. At least some people are. I'm not, but a lot of my fans are. Yeah, ironically stayed away from a chapter more suited to their interests. Our interests are white men. You know what? Not anymore. Not anymore. I'm hesitant to give the vocal minority who didn't just dislike Last Jedi. That's allowed. Oh, thank you. Really? Scott, I appreciate it. That's the first favor you've ever done me. Thank you. But viewed it as SJW propaganda, that's evil. It is evil. Too much credit. To the extent that it had any effect, you had some folks ignoring Solo either because they loved The Last Jedi or because they hated The Last Jedi. Why? I never thought a Han Solo prequel was a good idea, but even I didn't see the perfect storm coming. This perfect storm. Do I have to keep reading this nonsense? Look at this. Not every film starring a young white male lead is doomed to struggle overseas. Yeah, most of them aren't, in fact. King Arthur, blah, blah, blah. In the end, Solo had very little to offer that was fresh and had little to sell beyond a movie that happened to be part of the Star Wars universe. Oh, and happened to be for white people. It was for white supremacists. Here's what I'm trying to say. Look at this. Thus, from a certain point of view, white male movie stars may indeed be box office poison. Okay, I am completely prepared to subscribe to that point of view at this point. I am going to become a cheerleader of that point of view. I want all of these white male, and they are SJW feminists in Hollywood, out on their asses right now. And I want them to know why. I want them to know why. I want them to understand that SJWs have declared that because of their skin color and the fact that they have wieners, they are box office poison, and Solo is evidence. I want them all unemployed. I could give you a list. Every single one of them. I never want to see a white male leading a movie or in a movie ever again. Ever again. I want to see them all on the streets pushing lawnmowers. Should I make a list? Should I make a list of white males that we'd be rid of if only we could implement Scott's agenda? Scott's final solution? Look at Scott. Scott's like, I don't care. I'm not in movies anyway. He's like, I write for Forbes. This isn't going to affect me. This is just going to make my smirk bigger. This is a nuclear take. I am prepared completely to go along with Scott Mendelsohn. I think that most of us are. We're not in the movies. We don't really care. We're not going to go see any Disney Star Wars movies. Would you please, Scott, please convince Disney that their biggest problem, and please let them know this for episode 9 too, is white men. Not only white men in front of the camera, but white men behind the camera. What the hell is J.J. Abrams doing there? What is he doing there? He's the patriarchy. Why is he behind the camera? Doesn't he understand he's poisoning the box office? Get rid of him. Get rid of absolutely everyone. I want to see nothing but minorities, POC. I want to see women. Preferably not white women either. Rose Tico. The Rise of Tico. That should be the name of the next movie. Scott, I'm with you. So are my fans. And I would like to thank you for this article. I'm sorry, Aldrin. Aldrin? What's your name again? Third Ehrenreich? I already forgot you. I've seen the movie, and now you're out of my head. Ehrenreich? Third Ehrenreich? Sorry. Yeah. Go back home. Maybe you can move in with your mom. There will be no more movies for you. We have killed the second Ehrenreich. We have killed the third Ehrenreich. There will not be another Solo movie. And we have Forbes and this goofball to thank. Look at that smirk. I can't get enough of Scott. I'm changing my avatar to Scott. Like Scott already looks like my avatar, but from the front. Hey, want to follow me on Twitter? Okay, cool. I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. Talk to you there. You guys are the greatest. Thank you so much for everything that you've done to contribute to the growth and sustenance of this channel. Those of you who have donated to the super chats during live streams, those of you who have pledged to my Patreon, if you'd like to do that, there's a link right in the description. You'll find it there. Please do. Those of you who buy t-shirts, thank you for buying the shirts. Those go to support the channel. And thank you to everyone who hits like, who shares these videos, who subscribes, and rings the bell for notifications. Without you, we just couldn't do it, could we, Kaylee? We couldn't do it. So we really need you to remember that. You are the lifeblood of this channel, and you are on the front lines in the war against SJW, Disney, Star Wars, right? Yeah, totally.